So today's guest, a successful entrepreneur. He's one of the top online fitness and well-being coaches in the UK. He's an incredible athlete in his own right, and he's a proud father and family man. So, Luke Powell,
Yes,
welcome to the 3% podcast.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, mate. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Definitely has, yeah. Been something we spoke about for a good long time, innit?
Shredfast, what is it? Where did the idea come from? And what is the goal?
It's an online well-being program, just designed to get people fit first and foremost, but then I like to think it's a lot more than that. Obviously, when people throw themselves into it, they realise that it's designed to help your mental health, and it's a lot deeper than just working out. The idea came through, I've said this on other podcasts before, and most people will be aware of it, but just through my own struggles. So what I went through, I just went through a lot of dark days for about 2 years straight. I went through a really bad time, and the techniques that are in the program is basically what I researched and molded them together into Shredfast. Yeah, just in a bit of a unique way, I feel, and that's what Shredfast is. So it is techniques that have been tried and tested for a long time, but I've put them together in my own unique way.
Yeah, so basically to create a system then.
Yeah, exactly. So just like, I didn't want it to be something that everyone else has done. I wanted it to be a certain system that just felt different when you've done it. You're like, that.
So what's different, would you say, about Shredfast to most other online? Because there's a lot now, isn't there, like the well-being?
I think it is the intention.
Fitness apps and things like that. What's different about yours?
Well, for one, the workouts are brutal. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, I consider myself in elite level shape. So yeah. I can perform and keep a really high tempo, so I can set a good pace for people to always get a good workout. So that's first and foremost. But the intention behind why I do it is what I feel.
Yeah,
a lot of sense. %. It's just real. I'm doing it with the best intentions at heart. But of course, to provide for my family as well. But it stemmed from helping myself and then realising without me, I can definitely help.
So you'd say most of the stuff, if not all of the stuff, what they see has become part of the program and stuff. You obviously, I know anyway, you try a lot of this stuff, the workouts, the diet, you use yourself kind of as a guinea pig, so to say.
Definitely, and a lot of my clients over the years, they haven't got a vote for them.
I feel sorry for a few of them, but I'm sure some way or another it's obviously benefited them massively.
Honestly, literally just some of them exes that got marked down was when they'd come off and be like, that was well too hard, or it was this, or it was that, and I was X that. Tick the other one, and they just literally just done whatever they asked them to do. So I always say it, but I owe them a lot. You know what I mean? Over the years, I had some great people.
They provide you with some very useful information.
You know, one of them's a good mate of yours. No, Stigal.
Yeah, no, Stigal.
He was a great one to do. He'd do anything I asked him to.
Yeah.
So I've got a big shout out to him. He's funny. You should come in.
Cracker, yeah.
They just get absolutely beasted ironed out. The girls all the same. Like I say, that's what was so good. I had such a diverse clientele. Girls, men, just like young, old, like all different, like honestly, all different levels, big, small, fit, unfit. So I just got to trial and error.
So where did you start?
In a gym that literally under the MMA academy. So a little grotty gym. His name was Brian.
Yeah.
This fella, he was an ex military.
Yeah. And
he was so like, he was just on the ball scan. You still really would like him. He's still going now. I haven't spoken to him for a few years, but dead regimental, loved his books, dead like old school hard fella, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I took so much from him. I used to ask him advice on everything. He'd literally sit there all day, sit there with his feet up in his little chair and just read book after book after book. But he was like what do they call it, like a speed reader. So he could read 2 or 3 books in a day. It was crazy to see. And he'd just sit there, just reading and giving little bits of advice and having a little laugh. And I'd just ask him about anything. Anytime I got a break, we just end up talking for an hour or two. I'd be eating dinner.
Things like that's invaluable, isn't it?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. But it was just a little grotty gym. Nothing special at all, but it done the job, do you know what I mean? And so we just started off there. Literally, you just said £5 a client, and then when you train, build yourself up. So I wasn't walking into like a big wage up front. You know, like a lot of the mainstream gyms, 500 quid to train in our gym and you're paying that up front.
Yeah.
I think it's a really tough way to start that. I think
you've got to put the effort and the time in.
Yeah, lad, you've got to have a few quid put aside to do that. Bear in mind, you've just done a course. I'd probably set you back a few grand. So it was a great opportunity for me to just, I only paid them when I earned. Do you know what I mean? So done that and just built my clientele up over them years. That was like 2012, something like that.
Before that you played football, didn't you, when you were younger?
Yeah, so I played for Everton from the age of 13 through to 18 and then didn't get me pro. Went around a few lower league clubs then. Did get offered a few contracts. My mind just wasn't in it though. I was done with footy. Turned me back on it. You know, like, honestly, I picked up this more or less hatred towards it just because it was everything to me.
Resentment, yeah.
And it kind of is though, it just turned its
back
on me.
That's quite common, isn't it? You get quite a lot of lads when you get to a certain point, and girls.
Yeah.
Obviously they get released and it doesn't go.
It's just brutal. It's just a brutal way to do it. I know they get a lot of stick, the clubs and that, for not really having much in place, but I don't really see another way they can do it. I mean, if you're not good enough, you're not good enough, Scam. It's just what it is.
Course,
like, what's the coach supposed to do? Just give everyone a contract because it's not fair. It's like, so.
Well, here's a question for you then. So based on who you are today, if you'd have gone through the same experience today as what you went through at that age, how do you think you'd handle it differently today as opposed to how you did at the time?
I'd have just implemented everything I've learned, and especially like law of attraction, mental strength. Like, I was so weak-minded looking back now, just as most kids, 16, 17 now. But when I say that, most kids, the ones who made it weren't, Scam. Do you get me? The ones who made it almost knew what we know now. Yeah. Back then, swear they did. I look back now and I can just see it. I can see it in them.
It's a bit similar to what we say over like Tony Bellew, obviously who's been on the first podcast, who's a good mate of ours.
Yeah.
I always say his main quality, and you know, not a skill or a talent, but it's actually his belief.
100%.
There's never been no doubt he was going to achieve more he's ever managed to achieve.
He doesn't even know he's got it, does he?
And he's done it without realising that's just who he is. You know, some people are fortunate enough, some people have to learn it.
Yeah.
I'd probably say it's something we've learned.
Definitely.
Along the way, through our mistakes. Maybe not you can't call them mistakes because they've been blessings in disguise, but
experiences.
I'm sure at the time we didn't maybe see them that
Definitely.
way.
Definitely.
Would you say that's probably one of the best things? What's happened to you then?
Being let go and like that. Yeah, in retrospect, like 1,000,000%. Obviously, at the time, no, because it sent me on a downward spiral. But again, yeah, in
retrospect. Do you still carry any negative feelings?
I can't sit here and say I don't. We were speaking just on the way, weren't we? I'm not talking. I'd said, hey, I still struggle with this, that, and you was like, we're learning on the job. I don't know why anyone seems to hold themselves in such high regard as though to be like, they've cracked it. No one has. I don't think we ever will we?
I think we expect a lot of ourselves, maybe 100%. Too much at times, don't we?
Yeah, definitely.
But at the same time, I think, you know, again, that can actually work for you in some ways, as long as it's not too much. I've definitely experienced perfectionism as a mental disorder at one point through my fighting career. Like I expected preparation to be perfect, expected the performance to be perfect. Yeah. Obviously now with the mindset and the, you know, the way I think now, I understand nothing's ever perfect.
No.
So we can definitely be a bit too hard on ourselves sometimes, can't we?
100%. Like, definitely agree. But yeah, like I say, it's looking back, what it did teach me was just that you make your own way in the world. Like, don't rely on no one else to tell you, you've made the cut.
In this world, does it?
No. But like, I think what it taught me, like, I didn't want to pursue something where someone else got to say yeah or no to me. You get me? I just thought I'm just going to take control of my own destiny then. Yeah. That is what I thought, like, literally from, I remember just thinking, no one really does care, do they? Like, they can, of course, your family and that, they care, but then even at the same time, they've still got their own lives to take care of, and like what does, you get told no, and you're expecting everyone to rally around you and hug you and make everything all right, but no, life just goes on. No, like, it really doesn't. So it just taught me, like, I'm just gonna like, be in charge of my own destiny. I'm gonna go and make it happen myself. So
by a bunch of things, that's what
that's just happen, I just always said, like, I had one job in my life, which was working in Barclays, and I finished my training, and then
that was it. I worked in Barclays.
No, didn't know that at all.
When I left school, I had an apprenticeship as a joiner, and my mum worked in Barclays.
Yeah.
So I'd do like my apprenticeship in the morning. I think it was 8 till 4. And then I do 6 till 10 night shift in Barclays, probably for about a year.
Disgusting hours then, aren't they?
That was, yeah. But
I done a 12-8 or a 1-9. Like, what's that about, man? Like, they're just like, I'd get up at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, have my breakfast, do a little session, and then I'd be in, and then I'd get home at 10 that night. It was just madness, like. So I'd done my 8 weeks training, and then I remember I said, can I go to the toilet? And I used to go to the toilet and do dips and press-ups. I swear, lad. You know what I'm like with my mind, you know what I'm like, you've been army enough, so I'd be hypo anyway, and everyone used to laugh about it. And so I used to go to it, so I must have asked for like the 5th time in an hour, go and bang out my last set of 20, you know what I mean? Yeah. Get to 100, and she just said, no, you've been enough times. And I was like, what? She said, oh no, you can't. I just said, you tell me you can't go to the toilet? I said, yeah, so I just stood up and threw me at the set and just got off. Yeah, that's just, never went back, lad. Yeah. Never went back.
So how's it going now then, the programme?
It's probably the strongest it's ever been, so at the strongest point it's ever been. Scan right now, app launched this week, which was the boss that I was on this the week it was coming, because kind of like everything I've been working towards. So app launches on Sunday. It's going from strength to strength, lad. Literally, it's just gradually picking up pace with it, and it's all about retention rate. So I'm just like, I'm so committed to making sure my clientele are happy.
Yeah, you're keeping them.
Keeping them happy. That's all I care about. The new people will come. I just want them to be happy. You know what I mean?
Well, if they're going through your workout and they're staying there and you're retaining them, then
that's what I'm saying. And it's good. We've got different levels now of me. So my sister and a couple of other people working in there are doing different levels, advanced, intermediate, beginner.
Brilliant.
We've got Joe doing like the body blast.
So you haven't got to be an absolute machine.
Definitely
start out. It's basically catered and tailored to 100%. Any fitness level, any age.
Literally anybody. That's our slogan, isn't it? Anybody can. Of course, so like, I can't take credit for that either. I work with a great marketing fellow who asked me a full interview about how all this started, and then come up with that. Anybody can. And I was just like, so simple but so effective. So
I remember asking one of my mates over a slogan for a week, and it was awaken your true potential. Remember who that was?
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
I remember exactly.
Shout out for Luke there, because actually gave me the slogan for a week.
Yeah, man.
Like 3 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. Remember
that's
the
the
exactly.
song now. So, what's the goal then? Ultimately, what is the goal? Where do you see it being in 3-5
number
years?
Number one fitness app in the world. So I said it on the podcast, and I said number one fitness brand, but like that was the wrong terminology. And as I've got more experience with business, I've realised it's the number one fitness app. So fitness brand, Nike and that. I'm not on the same field as that. I'm purely focused on workouts, well-being, not clothing brand. And I've got like some clothes, and eventually I'll have clothing lines, I'm sure, but it's not my main focus. Just like it's a fitness app, so people to download, work with this app, and they can just change your life. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Before we move on then from Shredfast, Shredfast, where did the name come from?
The name came from a girl who I knew called Jamie. Got a shout out to her, absolute like diamond of a girl as well. And she, I won't say her second name, but she, her grandfather was like one of her best mates and started to suffer with dementia. So she went about creating a product called iFast, which was like a CMOS complex with other stuff, reishi mushroom and stuff like that to help cognitive function. And when she was speaking about it, I was like, why don't I create like my brand and we'll kind of cross it over? So her thing was called iFast. Shredfast. She just messaged me one day and said, I think she said, we had a few different names, like it was like burn fast, this fast. And then she was like, what about Shredfast? So again, that was gifted. And so I can't even take credit for that name either.
Do you think these things just kind of
they just get gifted to you?
You know, you're on the right path.
100%. But she just said, I was like, that's a belt of that, like 1,000,000%. So it just rolls off the tongue dead easy. I think just the way,
Shredfast.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So yeah, another gift lah, but that's just how it came about. But it was based around, that's what I'm saying, like it's not just she's come up with that solely. We were massive on fasting, intermittent fasting and 24-hour fasting.
You fast now?
I do intermittent fasting on days I feel like I need to fast. So like, if my stomach's feeling a bit bloated and that, I'll not eat till midday, but I haven't got a strict don't eat till this time every single day. No, just because I burn so many calories, just on the go all the time, trying to keep weight on me. is hard enough.
And on
as
top
it
of
is.
taking the sessions, you still train obviously outside of that as well. Don't you? The
Yeah,
boxing
I do like literally non-stop train twice a day, every single day. Minimum 4 hours a day I'll train. But as I said before, you know what I'm like anyway as well. Even talking like this, I'm high energy.
Burning calories,
man. So
for anyone who give you a little opportunity now, for anyone who makes excuses and says they haven't got time to train,
yeah,
considering all the things that you don't know, you just had a daughter as well. You'll probably speak about it in a little bit. But obviously on top of work and business and all these other things, what you've got going on, you still manage to train
100%.
twice a day.
There's no excuse. Like honestly, there's no. I always remember I told you one of the girls again. I won't call her out, but she's one of my good friends, and she said she missed a session. Said I can't do it. I've got some of the kids or something. And I said excuses. That was it. I just text back excuses, and she said we'll see when you've got kids. And I just text back saying yeah, we will see. Do you know what I mean? Because I knew like it doesn't matter if I missed the morning session yet. There's going to be times when I can't do it. I just go and do an evening.
It's the saying, isn't it? You either find a way or you'll find an excuse.
100%. So I've just got to a point where I know what I'm going to do at the beginning of every single week. So I have it set. This is what I'm doing. I heard Joe Rogan say it one time. He said he owes himself certain muscles. I'm going to work out 3 times a week, yoga twice a week, whatever. Yeah. Basically what I do. I just say, this is what I've got to do this week.
I have a similar thing basically, and the title on, I have a board at home. A big whiteboard that has my evening routine, morning routine, and I have a non-negotiables list, so which differs from week to week. I'll look at the week and go, maybe I've spent too much time on social media. Yeah. It's like non-negotiable this week. I've got a 45-minute timer or whatever it is, things like that, and actually plan the week out every Sunday. Yeah, man. Not just in terms of like meetings or work related things. And
the whole week.
Like home things and things. Maybe, you know, I need to be more present with the kids or they're on like me non-negotiables. So you're big on like planning and routine and things like
definitely.
that?
But I'm also scanning. It's weird because I'm also, that's where, so I used to be dead regimented as in, I'm doing this on that day at that time because I read Atomic Habits and I just found myself, if I couldn't do things because life can be unpredictable, can't it? Yeah. And what I found was, of course, these certain things are set in stone. I work out at 9:30 every day, 99 times out of 100. But with other things, when I was scheduling them a little bit too precisely and too regimented, when I wasn't doing them, I was like,
beating yourself up a little bit.
And it was just like I felt like I was failing a lot. Like so, because like it is just unpredictable. So like someone might say you've got a meeting planned with someone and they're the ones who can't make it. I'd still feel like, but I had that planned.
Yeah, some kind of responsibility.
Do you know what I mean? So then now my whole day's messed. So as I say now, I would just be like, I schedule stuff in, but I roll with any cancellations. Anytime I can't do something, I'll just roll with it and be like, right, how do we make the best out of this situation?
You've got to go with the flow, haven't you? It's good to have a plan. You need, for me anyway, I believe it's essential to have some form of a plan and to be assessing what you're doing.
Yeah. And a goal.
Trying to get the most out of your time, yeah.
Definitely.
Managing yourself, basically, because I think a lot of people, which you'll obviously know through the work what you do, don't have a plan or don't have an intention and they just, I've spoke about it a lot lately I know there's a big thing where people just feel confused and they've got nothing to kind of channel their energy into, but creating a plan and having a routine.
100%.
For anyone who's watching who struggles mentally and do kind of feel that confusion, then for the likes of me and Luke, it helps us massively. So much, just being organised with your time, isn't it?
I think, as you say, a goal scan, so a plan, like a plan of action of what you're going to do, like what do I need to do to get to this goal? The goal, obviously, and then as long as you're moving towards that goal each week, you're like, I've made some progress towards that goal. I feel like you're on the right track.
Is that something you've implemented through Shredfast? Obviously, when I say through Shredfast, I mean like in terms of your work and your business, have you set goals for all of the things?
I've got like where I want to be in a certain amount of years. So I've got a 2024 goal, 1st of January 2024, what I want to have achieved to the brand. I've got an overall goal of the amount of people I want to reach. So they're on my vision board, strong for me to see every day. But again, that's another thing where my affirmations were really specific at one point, which we spoke about. And then it got to a point where I thought I'm closing a lot of doors by saying these so specifically. And do you know what I'm saying? Like I want, this is what I want. And it's like, that might be blocking out a lot of other avenues. And it kind of leans into what you were saying before over the perfection, expecting things to go a certain way. And then when they don't, you feel like you can lose a little bit of faith, can't you? Exactly. So now I'm just more open to like, I just want to help people. So that's my main goal is help as many people as I can. Yeah. And then other little goals that I've got in place just to be able to provide for my family and give them the life that I didn't experience as a kid. So as long as I get to them goals and help a lot of people and help my family, I don't really...
You're happy?
Yeah, however I get there, I get there. I believe I know the path, but do we really know the path? Do you know what I mean? Like, anything can happen. It's so unpredictable, innit? Anything can... I mean, who would have expected lockdown? Who would have, like, expected a lot of things that happen?
Adaptability is a big thing, isn't it? You see the people who kind of thrive when negative situations, or you can look at them as negative situations, come up, which, as you say, now they can at any time. It's life's unpredictable. You can always have a plan and goals and all these things, but I mean, tomorrow's never guaranteed, is it?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think being able to adapt and stuff like that's obviously really,
100%.
really important. You're saying over, you basically have gone through a hard time and struggling mentally and stuff like that. What was that like?
Lately, or do you mean back in the day?
Back in the day?
Yeah, so I just, back a good few years ago, I obviously was just a young, like, stupid lad who just, like, probably had a bigger ego than I should have. But just ended up getting into a bit of bother anyway in town, and got a rude awakening basically. Like, I got attacked, and it just kind of sent me on a downward spiral for a long time. But then in retrospect, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I was very, like, confused and full of, like, paranoia, and just, like, it wasn't a good time at all. So that happening just made me realise, like, nah, because my family weren't, like, Helen, and like, she wasn't going to let me see the kids and that, me 2 godsons, and everyone was just kind of like, you got to sort your shit out, you know what I mean? You got to sort your shit out. So that was a turning point. But when I say it was a turning point, I still went down the wrong path for a long time, even after that. But that was a moment what at least made me aware of, like, right, I've got to start to get myself on a better path now. And what I'd done for about 2 years, I was on a good path, and then slowly slipped back into my old habits at about the age of 22 again. And then it was about the age of 24 again. I'd kind of went down the wrong path. In the age of 24, I had a bit of another rude awakening and got myself together again and was like, no, I need to. And that's probably happened 3 or 4 times, Scan, in my life. The last one was like, I've flipped my car. I should have died, 1,000,000%, about 3 years ago. Like, definitely, like, I honestly, God, don't know how I didn't die. I didn't have my seatbelt on. I was upside down, like, on the roof. It was madness. Like, I don't, like, still to this day, I don't know how I survived that. So that was the last, like, no, come on now, like, get it together. And
made some silly mistakes myself when I was younger, and you wouldn't believe how many similarities there's been in, like, experiences and things. Well, I won't go into them, but can definitely understand. When you look at these things now, it's like you're very grateful, aren't you, that you're 100%. In the position that you're in, and obviously healthy, and you look back and think what could have happened. Yeah,
you do. You know, it's just like people say. I'm not here to say I wake up happy every day, Scan, because, like, I definitely don't. Like, I struggle with mental health, but I'm the happiest person I know right now, and that's me saying I struggle with mental health. So I've learned to just be so grateful each day I wake up now, and I think that's what makes me feel the way I do. Because, as you say there, I think sometimes, like, I probably shouldn't be here. I don't really like to say that because it's a bit of a strong statement, like, I shouldn't be here. Obviously you should, but it's like a lot of stuff has happened where I definitely couldn't have been here. I could have been dead by now. So the fact I'm not,
statistically based on the experience, things would have happened.
100%.
Not many people would be in the position.
1,000,000%. So I actually do wake up sometimes, and that's all I need to. I just think, wow, like life, especially now, my daughter and that lad, and waking up and you see it, it's like, honestly, that, like, it's next level. And any days that you, like, don't really feel like this today, and you just hear wiggling in the bed, and it's just like those little things. It does sound cliche, but it drives you, doesn't it? Like they say, like, having a daughter or having a child at all can just change your life, and it does. Because I got to a point where we spoke about gratitude a lot, haven't we? Over the years, like, we've always been big on it, like being grateful, and especially first thing in the morning, filling yourself with gratitude and writing things down, affirmations. So I've always done it, and I find myself now you don't really have to even do much. All you have to do is look at it.
Yeah.
Look at your kids and
But
watch
initially,
them.
if you're coming
in
from
the
a
moment.
negative, or predominantly a negative way of thinking, in a sense, that's where the affirmations and that come into play, because you've got to basically reprogram
It is like
your way of thinking, and so it becomes normal to you, because it's
Definitely.
normal kind of in our culture and society to be negative and to often look for the worst case scenario and things that really you'd like to avoid. So
I think affirmations, don't know if you find yourself though, people are a bit like affirmations, like especially the lads, the lads from Liverpool and the way we are, and even the girls, just the way we are as a culture. Like affirmations, like they want to sit there in the morning and say this out loud. Like,
why do you think that is?
Just because the way we are, just Scousers, just, I don't know. I actually don't know the reason, but I know definitely that even just that word and saying prayer or affirmation, most people will be like, nah. But as you said there, it's science really, because you're just reprogramming, you're just telling yourself something consistently and you start to believe it. Your subconscious does start to believe what you're saying. So it's not like voodoo or none of this, like even like law of attraction. It's actually just science. If you don't believe in all that other stuff, take all that away from it. Just reprogram your brain with words.
Verbal expression of your thoughts,
exactly,
and how you're feeling. So if you find if you're speaking negative, there's all stuff you know anyway. But if you're speaking negatively, that's just a reflection of how you know, the thoughts, what you're thinking and things like that. So
if you get up in the morning, speak half an hour of positivity, listen to half an hour of positivity, you're bound to have a better day, man, because just your reactions, your response to people, you're going to have just like filled your mind with even positive words. So they're more likely to come out. Just in general conversation.
Yeah,
so
it's like
just
that saying, isn't it? I'm not a big fan of fake it till you make it, because I think the word fake in general maybe carries a little bit of like a negative feeling.
No, definitely. I get
but
what
you can
mean.
definitely convince yourself to be happy if you say it enough, and then you can start to emotionalize it. Because when we speak affirmations, it's not just about like, it's not an empty word, it's an affirmation. It may seem that way at first. It's basically convincing yourself that you're something at that time.
It is empty at first, isn't it?
You may not be, but it's just through repetition. The more you say it, and obviously if it's things which are important to you, now you'd like to be or see yourself being, then it definitely works. I've used it to stop me getting, I was on Simo's podcast, just doing a short one, just a little shout out for the Point podcast with Tom Simpson.
Yeah.
But that's what we're speaking about, beliefs. And I always mention in probably every podcast, Brainman Brian, who's obviously a mutual friend of ours.
Yeah.
And he actually taught me affirmations to help me overcome me making myself sick. I was making myself sick through focusing on not getting sick and worrying about getting sick.
Yeah.
And we used affirmations to basically just strengthen my immune system, to change my beliefs. And they were mad at first. I was looking in the mirror thinking, I'm fucking round the bend here. Even talking to myself. You hear that saying, don't you get locked up for talking to yourself? And here I am standing in the mirror, basically repeating affirmations about how my immune system's strong and how I don't get sick, and you know, I'm my immune system's impregnable, I am fit, strong and healthy, and these are the affirmations which basically help me not to get sick. And once I started to realise, you know, I'm creating and causing this sickness, but through speaking the different words and changing my language,
definitely.
Over time it changed my beliefs, and I don't think I've been in the doctor since. So
I remember, like you said there about the fake, I remember like hearing someone say anyone who has to look in the mirror and tell themselves they're happy isn't happy. And I thought, that's right. So I thought with it, and then I just thought,
but at the same time, you could say, well, maybe that's the reason why they are looking in the mirror, because the intention is to change the language.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I don't think it's not really.
Tell me someone who can stand in front of the mirror and repeat numerous times, I'm unhappy, and stay happy.
I know what you mean. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's you are just programming, but like I say, I just feel like when you said before about what's kind of your mission, like what do you want, like it's just getting people to be a bit more open-minded with this type of stuff and understand that you haven't got to be a different person, because that's something that I've been studying a lot lately. In the book, The Courage to Be Disliked, it speaks about the psychology of what that book basically says, Scan, is that you never change. You only have to create an identity of who you're not, to basically to be someone, or you break through to who you are. Yeah. So you either be yourself or you pretend to be someone else, is what it's saying. You don't change. So wherever you go within that, it's not you changing. You don't become a different person. You either create a different person or you become yourself. And I definitely agree with that. So it's like, I try and make sure I don't try and be like, you need to change yourself. I'm like, you just need to work out what you want, what you want out of life. Yeah, because there's nothing wrong with what you'll find is even if you think you've got a selfish goal, if you get to the root of it, it's probably not selfish, and that's what I've worked out quite a lot. So for example, if I said, what's your goal? And you said, you know what? And I was like, proper, just be honest with me, hooked up to a lie detector and said, what's your goal? And he was like, I just want money. I just want to be really wealthy. If we got into the why, that wasn't kept asking the question why. We probably get down to the root of it, maybe being a child with insecurity, maybe they want to provide for the family. And do you know what I mean? I guarantee you, it's nearly always rooted in good. So in that same book, it speaks about some of the most, what we consider evil people in the world. And it says they all believed that they were doing good. So it's like the root to everything really is essentially good. You know, you got all these people, real like bad figures, like say Hitler and stuff. In their own mind, they were convinced they were doing good for the world, weren't they? So their mission was based on good, even though it was bad. So it's like that was just their mindset, but they thought we're doing this for the greater good. So everyone, even some of the worst things people do, there's usually a good intention behind it, or they believe it is. So it's basically saying, roundabout way, everyone's got good in them. And like our natural way of being is good, not evil. So we're constantly trying to be good, but we just go.
Well, a baby, when it's born, it's full of love, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? It's a natural.
A traumatic birth. I know that can actually affect children leading into, becoming adults. But effectively, everyone is born good and pure. It's only through the attachments to the information and the ideas and
100%.
The conditioning, the environment, the circumstances create, as you're saying, a false self, so to say, or you actually create a false self.
Yeah, and we've just got the wrong idea. And again, it's not like I'm sitting here saying I know what the right way is. I definitely don't, but I just know that in my life, the more I've just started to do good by people, and just with the intention of I just want you to be happy and do good. It served me well.
Goods come back to you.
It served me well because I sleep better at night. I feel content with myself and who I am. I've got good people around me because of it.
Yeah, so you're just attracting the right people.
Yeah, you do good to people. It's not that you do good because you want good back. You do good to them.
It's who you are.
It's naturally what's at your core. There's no ulterior motive. I'm not trying to be good to anyone in the hope I'm going to receive something back. And it's not necessarily that you receive something back as it's gone. It's not that it's not like you're good to someone and they give you the gift. It's just like the good energy between you both. You meet someone and you give them real good.
You make someone feel good.
Then like it's that energy that you take, that's the good coming back to you. It's like you're like, I feel good there. I've just come away from a really good interaction with someone. So
yeah, there's like the thing is, again, you hear, don't you, sometimes if you're in a negative place yourself, go and do something for someone else.
It's a perfect example of that today. Scanning the workout just worked out then. And I was in a bit of a bad mind frame just this morning. I just woke up just a little bit, where you're just a little bit subdued and a little bit down. I had to really drag myself out of bed and stuff. The baby didn't sleep at all last night. She was shouting all night. So I didn't sleep well, and I was halfway through the workout. That exactly come into my head. And I was sat there and I could feel my mind wandering, feeling sorry for myself constantly. So I just thought to myself, right, Adam, one of the lads who's training, I just made sure he had a sick workout. So I went, lad, come on, get it. And, I gave him everything. And then in turn, fueled me a bit. And then I walked away and it uplifted me straight away. By helping someone. I essentially lifted my own session and I got a little bit more out of it.
And as you say, it's not with selfish intentions.
No, I just thought, right, I can't be asked. So I'm going to make sure he gets a good workout at least give him some knowledge, because I'm just not feeling it today. I wasn't getting into the groove of it.
I think what you found as well through like the thing, what's been going on for the last couple of years, beginning with a C, I've never seen so many people out feeding homeless and things like that. So I think people actually sense and feel that, there was a lot of people struggling, obviously mentally and even financially and things like that. But I've never seen so many people come together. Yeah. Mark on a mission. I'll give them a shout out. Getting people on the beaches, and a lot of people on the beaches, and a lot of good came from it. He did actually see, even though I believe the whole thing's about separation and trying to keep people apart, which is my own belief. I think you're actually seeing it have the opposite effect on a lot of people, and people start to come together and supporting and helping each other and basically just sharing love and supporting.
But the sad thing is, like, you know, going back to just what I was speaking about, you know, COVID, the way it did cause separation. Again, you know, when you look back now, Scan, the separation it caused was still all done with good intention. Like, everyone just believed they was right. So people who believed in this whole thing didn't want other people to get sick, and they get so emotional about it. You're making other people sick because they care.
Of course, yeah.
Other people that go, no, you're separating us and you're separating me and the family. I need my family. And it was, everyone thought they were doing good. No one was doing it in an evil way, was they?
Yeah.
Like, there was, well, at least I didn't really come across it anyway. Everyone just essentially thought they were right in their belief.
And then you've got people going, oh, use it all sheep and use it all tomatoes and use it this and that way. Really, everyone just got to accept,
do you know what I mean?
each other's beliefs. And
100%. And it was just unfortunate that for you to go on a walk. Like, I remember going for a walk with the kids, where we probably shouldn't have been at the time, but it was a mountain on a rainy day out in the middle of nowhere, and this old woman screamed at us and called us all the names under the sun. Do you get me? And I seen little Archie, his head drop, and I said, don't you dare let your head drop like that. Like, don't, like, that you're doing nothing wrong. He got made to feel like he was a bad person because he was walking up a mountain. We should have all been
on
at
the flip
home.
side, that's coming from a place of fear, isn't
exactly.
it?
She was like, it's people like you that are making us sick. Like, you shouldn't be making us sick. She's probably a lovely woman.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But she was so fearful. And again, she wanted to protect their family and herself, and was like, you shouldn't be doing this. And I didn't say a word to it. I just, like, tried to just not even interact.
But I think on the back of that now, normality, so to say, starting to come back into play, and kind of that thing's passing now.
Yeah.
For now, we see it, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I think a lot of them realise now that they probably did overreact. That's what the general gist I get when I'm speaking to people anyway. But again, I don't blame any of them, because I think they were just scared and confused.
They've done what they think is the right thing at that time, haven't they?
1,000,000%.
But obviously the work what you're doing is essential. You know, I'm sure you must have seen you put messages on social media. I think people basically saying what you've done for them and how you've helped them and things like that.
It's great to see.
So how does that feel?
Like honestly, I don't know where it was that I seen. Can't think now what book or anything it was, but it was saying don't get attached to criticism or praise. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't get high on praise and don't get low on criticism, because that's where it's dangerous. Like, just be neutral with everything. So I feel like you do that probably without even knowing. When people try and give you praise, you just always like, yeah, it's sweet, like it is. You don't go like, oh, thanks so much. And I don't let myself get too high on it, because I know at the same time that someone, love it, I might get the same message in the same day saying, I'm not getting nothing from it, or X, Y, or Z. So I just try, and I always try with both of them, I just say like, thank you very much. And even for the criticism, I say thank you very much. Because like,
we need criticism just as much as
so much
praise, but it's still so nice, much. Isn't it, to get?
It's great. It's a great feeling.
What you get from someone, and I think another way to look at it is they're not actually saying you're amazing. They're just expressing how they feel because of something what you've done. So
definitely, that's what I always say to them.
I wouldn't take it too personal.
Yeah,
like they're saying, Luke, you're the bee's knees.
Yeah.
But I'd definitely take on board, because, as you say, we need negative feedback, but we also need positive feedback.
Definitely. But exactly what you said.
Like that inspire you to...
Yeah, 100%. What I meant by it more so was exactly what you just said, Scan. So like, I'll say to them, it's you that are doing it. I only put the work out. Like, you got to understand, you're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You've gone out and bought yourself kettlebells. You get up and put your smart telly on with no real motivation there, and you just do the work like for the last 3 months. That's not me.
Yeah,
I'm putting the work out there. Like, these people have got to understand that it's them.
But it's you who makes the choice, isn't it? Ultimately,
it's
to get your ass up,
like, yeah, it's them. It's all on them. So, like, as I say, like exactly what you said there, it's like, I'll say to them, thanks very much, mate. But it's you that, do you know what I mean? Like, it really is you. It's you that's doing the work. No one can hold your hand with this. It's something that you either commit to and reap the rewards for, or you go at a 50%, get after the reward, or you 20%. Like, it's just a direct correlation. The effort you put in, you'll get back exactly what you put in.
Not the way people portray everything over social media. Obviously, anyone looking at you from the outside, I know you personally, but looking at you from the outside, I think there's no way in a million years someone like him could experience any form of mental health or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you touched on before that obviously you still have your struggles, and it's not No, for no one, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for anyone. I wouldn't even want it to be personally.
No.
But at the same time, what kind of daily, maybe I won't say daily battles, but what do you experience in terms of like
so
your day to day? And
first thing in the morning, I always wake up with a bit of fear. Like I hate the word anxiety and that because it just gets used so much now, but just a bit fearful because for such a long time, based on what I touched on before as well, don't want to go too much into it, but it was a fear, like for the long time, woke up like what's going on, like I had like PTSD from it, like really bad, like I couldn't walk down the street without looking and stuff, so I was in a just a ball, like I was just like in a world of fear for 2 years straight. That still definitely like the devil still comes and knocks on the door, do you know what I mean? First thing in the morning when you're gathering your thoughts and you get gaining that consciousness, like where am I? And they'll be there, them little negative thoughts. So the first thing I do, I've got a whiteboard in my room, just there, and it's got just some affirmations on, and I only have to open my eyes and it's there. So straight away that just triggers, and I read it, and then I get straight onto my knees and I pray. Just say thank you to God for being here, thank you for my daughter, thank you for my girlfriend, everything like in my life. Just say thank you. Cuddle a dog, get on the floor with the dog and mess around with it. So I just make sure my first 10 minutes is filled with love. You know what I mean? So I'm a bit deep and a little bit like, knowledge, you know what I'm saying, though, but like that's just the truth. That's
well,
what
if you look at someone who rolls out of bed, snoozes the alarm 10 times, and's got half an hour before to get dressed, get a shower, brush the teeth, have a cup of tea.
Throwing breakfast down breakfast down as they're getting into the car, pure indigestion. It's like, that's I just fill me 10 minutes with love, literally just I look around and I just think I'm just so grateful because I genuinely am as well. It's not something I've got to pretend, definitely not anymore. Maybe I used to. And then I get up and then I go and do me strict affirmations, like 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes of just positive prayer and affirmation, just reading it, saying it out loud as well. Jump in the shower, cold shower, always finish on a freezing cold shower for at least a minute, sometimes 5, just depending on how I'm feeling that day, but at least a minute. Coffee on my way to work, usually try and wait 60 to 90 minutes after waking up before I have my coffee now, to allow the natural process of waking you up rather than relying on caffeine. Don't know the science too much behind that, so I'm not trying to act like I do. But yeah, I just know that they say it's best to try and wait 60 to 90 minutes after. So I have my coffee usually either when I get to the gym or on my way. All my vitamins and that just before I leave. And as I say, if I'm feeling a bit hungry that day, depending on how late at the night before, I'll have my eggs, high fat, high protein breakfast, cooked in coconut oil, so just like 6 full eggs or 4 full eggs, 2 whites, with me, and I'll have that with me vitamins, loads of water, and then make me way to go and work out. And I always try and work out at 9:30, no later than 9:30 is my first session, just because that's what really sets off my day. If I don't get that in, my day feels weird. I don't feel like, I just don't feel the same, just in me. And I know that when I went through a while ago, which we'll probably touch on in a bit, but with what happened with my dad and that the other month, and I injured myself going in the next day after that, I just lifted wrong and pulled me back. I don't know if you remember me saying, but
I do, yeah.
So I put a thing on that time, said, who am I, without saying them. And I had to ask a lot of questions to myself there. And what I realised was, I'm okay without it, but I'm not.
Yeah, for me,
I'm not high performing without it. I need it.
Training and exercising these different things aren't something I do. I've done them for that long now. It's who I am.
Yeah, man.
So it's like, if you're not, like we were saying before, I know people who struggle with addiction and things like that. My morning routine and these things are my 12-step program. Yeah. And when I'm off that 12-step program, I'm not me. Yeah. And I want to escape and I want to be on my phone and I need to load the shit and do all these things. So the more I stick to the program, the more it helps me be who I am.
Exactly.
That's probably the best way or best example I can give. So my body knows 5 o'clock in the morning is exercise time. If it gets to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, I haven't exercised. My body's like, what the fuck's going on? Where are you? Why haven't you trained? Definitely. And it'll punish me by making me feel a bit of anxiety, and it's like, I know people will look at me and you, and this is probably a good opportunity to like put this out there. We don't feel amazing 24/7, but we do the things what essentially we need to do to make us feel the best we can.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean we feel great all the time, does it?
Definitely not.
But I know what motivates me to get up and exercise is how I'll feel if I don't do that.
Yeah.
And that's enough to get me out of bed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
That's my wife. I've got different reasons why I train. I think about, obviously, when I'm a granddad, I want to be able to roll around and play. We can still be able-bodied and fit and healthy, and obviously want to live a good quality of life. But the main thing what's in my mind every morning is if I don't get up and do this, I'm going to feel like shit.
And you're not going to be the best. You're
I'm
not going to be the best, the best version of you. And it's like I was me when I couldn't train, but I wasn't the best version of myself. I was a small percentage of what I know I can, like
your potential.
My potential. I was just I'm not living my true potential when I'm not training each day. And like people will say, like, you shouldn't need training. You should be like, because there's different opinions on it. Isn't this kind? You've got people in the holistic field who are content and they don't have to go and brutalise the body in a session and be dripping at its own sweat. Yeah. They can find peace from within, sat meditating, and all power to them. There's no right or wrong. For me, I find my peace at the end of a session when I can't give any more. There's a pool of sweat on me, and I'm like, I've paid my dues for today. I've earned. You've
earned your happiness.
I've earned me. Yeah, like I have to have a good day because I've worked as hard as I know possibly can. Like, I've given a part of me to every session, and I've also spread that through the people who are in the gym with me and the people who are going to be doing online. Yeah, so I've paid my dues, like I say, and when I've done that, after I've done it, I just have a better day. I perform better. I be better to the people closest to me, and I can't ever see.
Going back to what you said earlier, things happen, don't they, which are out of your control. But you're just giving yourself the best chance, aren't you, to basically feel good and be healthy.
To handle it.
To have it, to handle it, basically.
That's what I've done. Like, my dad passed, when was it now? It was like 6 months ago, was it? I don't really think I've actually fully lost track of time this year. But it was a weird relationship because I didn't know my dad growing up. I'd only seen him a handful of times, count on one hand the amount of times I'd seen him as a child. So it was something that we formed a relationship, and we were speaking about it when I came to yours the other month. Just after it, we sat in yours and spoke about it for hours, didn't we? Got a bit of food. But with him, what it was like I formed a relationship, and it was when he was in hospital just before he passed. I spent 3 weeks with him every single day, and that's the most time I've ever spent with him. And because he was on his deathbed, he was so honest with me that he probably taught me more like life lessons than he probably would have done if we'd known each other my whole life, because it was so one-to-one with him, intense, and he knew the end was near, so he was just giving as much advice as he could. Yeah, he was just pouring everything out to me. Do you know what I mean? So it was a mad state of affairs, really, that I got everything I needed from my dad right before he died, what I always never felt like I had. So, and during that situation, again, when you said about give yourself the best opportunity, I was still just getting up every day and training. Like, the one thing I just made sure is that, I've got to go to the hospital. And the amount of times I've heard people say, especially these last few years, I can't train today or this, I've got to go to the hospital with my mum or this. So I've heard that a lot of people, because a lot of people were sick over that period. And it's like, that's fine. And of course you've got to be there, but you can get that session in because you'll actually be there, you'll have trained, and you'll be able to give more of yourself.
Positive energy because you feel better. Because
I'd go and train and go straight into my dad, and he'd love, and I'd just turn up, and if I hadn't trained, I probably wouldn't be going in with that same energy. Do you know what I mean? So, as I say, I feel like I do all these things to be the best and to be able to handle, to be the best version of myself and to be able to handle anything that came. And the way I dealt with it, I was so proud of myself how I dealt with that whole situation. And so with my family. So it proved to me that what I'm doing is working. I wouldn't have handled it anywhere near.
That's the greatest feedback you could ever ask for.
Definitely.
That you're doing the right things and you are on.
So I know, because I've, as you said, when I was like a guinea pig, not just a guinea pig to myself and my clients with training, but all life experiences. Like, I make a note of everything, I document a lot. And basically, I everything that happens. Not that I documented everything that was happening with my dad, but I still make little notes and write in my diary, just little bits and bobs. Not religious with it every day, but I keep track of how I felt and what helped me. And as I say, with my injury, and I thought, well, I went in with a negative mindset that next day after my dad passed Saturday. I went in Sunday and lifted the kettlebells and I wanted to smash the kettlebell through the mirror, do you know what I mean? That's the type of way I went into that workout, and I ended up pulling me back. And all that negative energy was holding in my body, and I just knew that was my own fault. Yeah, and then the anger I experienced then, I couldn't blow off any steam. For 2 weeks after my dad had passed, I couldn't blow off any steam, and that made me really sick myself, and I knew that was all a test. I knew that was really like, right, okay, so you've handled the whole lead up to this, and the actual thing was sound.
So instead of sitting now feeling sorry for yourself, you look forward and find the lessons in.
You know, I had to, because I couldn't.
You didn't have to.
You know what I mean?
But you didn't have to, did you?
I could have just sat there and felt sorry for myself. But I mean, I had to keep my mind. I had to just look for the best in the situation, and I thought, how can I do that? And what I done was made sure other people were in a position where, when I can't train, that they can perform the program. So I put a lot of energy into that, which has paid dividends now in the end as well. They're amazing at what they do, the team, because I give them that level of trust as in, I believe that you can do what I thought at one point only I could do. So now they've took that and they've ran with it and they're all killing it. So that was great. And then also, as I say, the fact that I couldn't get up and go and train, it just made me have to sit with me and how did I actually feel, instead of masking it with training, being able to. So I was made up with how I handled the whole situation as a whole. And as I say, it really was just a testament to everything I've been doing, and all it done was clarify that what I'm teaching works, because that was a proper life thing that near enough everyone is going to experience. I mean, I hope it wouldn't be the other way around. You wouldn't want your dad to be burying the son, or the mother to be burying the son. So eventually we're probably all going to do that if we live our life correctly. That's the way life goes, innit? You bury your parents. So
in general, yeah.
Just generally. So something that we're probably all going to experience at one level, and it taught me that what I do day to day, how I train, who I associate myself with, and the person I've become can handle that. And
I think it says a lot about your mindset anyway, to even have that perspective on it.
Yeah.
To even think that way, this is a test, and
definitely,
regardless of how difficult it is, I'm going to use it as an opportunity to see where I am. And obviously the stuff what you've been doing is paid off, hasn't it? So
yeah, it did. I give myself 2 or 3 days where they just I didn't really see anyone. I just went and worked out on my own and kept myself to myself for 3 days. But I felt like if I'd have done any more, that's where you could go. That'd just always be my advice to people is don't cut yourself up with when you need to speak to
don't isolate
people.
Yourself.
Yeah, definitely don't isolate yourself. I know we've had a lot
do you spend
things
a lot
in the
of time
city and stuff.
on
A lot
your
of
own,
people.
would you say?
In
general,
not no more with the baby. So I'm not as much anymore. But I'm definitely someone who can go to a restaurant and eat alone. And I love my own company. I genuinely do. But only recently, those scanners in 3-4 years since I feel like I actually got my mental health in check. Because before that, I'd just be overthinking everything.
Yeah.
So that's something that's only in the past few years I feel like I can sit there and be with myself now. But at one point, that was my worst. That was my worst.
I know I love a good quote. Everyone knows I love a good quote, but if you're not comfortable when you're by yourself, then you're in bad company.
Yeah, man.
That's what they say, isn't it? So
it's true though, because you're with yourself at all times. So unless you get comfortable with yourself, you're either gonna be what we spoke about before and projecting that you're someone you're not constantly and having to keep up this act, which is essentially where people end up getting mentally ill.
They're just reacting to their environment and everyone around them instead of
they're just pretending that they're okay when they're not. So this is saying about affirmations and starting that journey off, but the goal is to actually be okay, not to just say affirmations and think you're okay, to actually be okay. As I say, when certain situations arise and you experience real life tests, how do you actually react then? Because it's all well and good being someone who, they look like they've got the shit together, they even may feel like they've got the shit together, but then when shit hits the fan, they fall apart and crumble. And I've seen it often. I've seen it a lot in my life with people who think they've got the shit together, they're okay, and they're really not. And you see little states of people when you spend a lot of time around them and stuff, and you just start to think you're not as together as I thought. And not that I'm judging them, it's just I just
Sometimes
see
though we can be guilty, can't we, of painting a picture of someone like they're invincible.
1,000,000%.
Do you know what I mean?
1,000,000%, which is the whole
No one is,
not putting people on pedestals. Definitely, like I think that it's with social media now, it's a dangerous thing, which is part of the reason I'm trying to be so open now with you. It's like, as you said, people looking from the outside and they may think a totally different thing, but
I genuinely use Instagram and social media as a platform just to spread positivity and to make people happy, and hopefully through some of the stuff that I do, which is like, it's who I am. It's not everything I put on there is who I am. If I'll put a video dancing with my little girl the other day, and these are things I do. These aren't for everyone's eyes. I put them on there because I think maybe that will lift someone's day or raise the vibration,
but
however you want to put it.
It will, and it
but
does.
That doesn't mean that I don't, argue with me missus now and again.
Exactly.
Or maybe tell me kids off, and when I'm not, because I'm not feeling great myself, and we're still only human, aren't we?
Definitely. But as well as you say there, it's good that you do your post in the morning and stuff, and you'll speak about
that's
real life
my
stuff.
goal and intention behind Instagram. The whole self-awareness and this improvement is great, because at least I was laughing the other day and I was saying, through self-awareness and practicing all these different things, what we do and spending time on your own, at least when you act like a dickhead, 90% of the time you're actually aware that you're acting like a dickhead, and you can try and fix or apologise or do whatever you need to do, which is obviously better than acting like a dickhead and not knowing that you're acting like a dickhead.
It is. But what I found though as well is, like, the more people you associate with, the more good people you associate yourself with, the life that like you could say that you're living is actually reality in the end.
Yeah.
Like, and what I'm saying here is, like, of course we do experience bad days and bad thoughts, and but the majority of my life really is good, really is happy, positive. Like, that is how like I go into the gym and all smiles, high fives, hugs, coffee, training.
And that's because you're made up to see the people who are going in there. I
genuinely am. I go and do my boxing with, like, John, and we're just made up to see each other. The boss lad, and we just talk, have a boss time, and then see you later, boys, and everyone's just, and I'm in the car, and then I go get me food. I go and make me food. I listen to a little podcast and have me hour downtime, and like, that is my life. Like, a genuine, like, I'm really around positive, good people and positive, good environments, and that's so key to, like, especially the young lads and girls coming up now and leaving school and stuff, is to just immediately try your best to associate with yourself with as many positive people and positive environments as you can, because
I was having this conversation with MJ last week. MJ's my son, he's 11. He's just left his primary school and gone to a senior school, but it's not a feeder school, so basically he's going to go in there not really knowing anyone. There's maybe one or two kids who he knew.
Okay.
And we were having a conversation in the car on the way to school. I'm saying, look, you've got to choose your friends wisely. I'd like to believe, well, actually, no, he's not the type of kid who will follow and try and do things to fit in with other people, which makes me really proud, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the fact he's chose to go to a school where he's not going to be surrounded by.
That's such a big thing at that age.
But at his age of being 11, it's still really important that he chooses at that age the right kind of friends, people who, I won't say he wants to be like anyone, but people who may be going to bring the best out of him and not make. We all make mistakes. It's part of learning and growing up, and I wouldn't want to wrap him in cotton wool. But at the same time, it's my job and my duty, the same as yours, to kind of educate your kids on maybe some mistakes what you've made in the past. Because I know, looking back, a lot of the times when things haven't been going well, it's been because of how I've been feeling. A lot of the time, I'll be brutally honest, it's been because of people who spending time with you, and you're only as good as the 5 people you
100%. That's one of the truest things ever. Like, the people that you spend the most time with.
You've got to be able to protect yourself as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's not being heartless or cruel by distancing yourself from certain people. It's necessary at times, isn't it?
But it's not even necessarily as well distancing yourself from people thinking that they're negative. Like, we were speaking again on the way I was saying, the last couple of months I've had to really shut myself off just from being pulled too many different directions, and then trying to, like, basically say to too many things and please too many people. I've had to, and it's not that these people are negative. I mean, a lot of these people and things they've asked me to do, or people who've asked to see me, it could have led to something great, but with the app launch, I've had to close myself off and really focusing on it, but it probably hasn't been great for mental health because I didn't...
You feel a bit separate and a bit lonely?
Yeah, I just felt, I started getting to a point definitely where I did. I felt a little bit like I cut myself off here and I need to get back going for like a little bit of food.
Yeah,
with the lads
I can
and doing
relate to that
stuff like
because
that.
I've kind of
you know
done something very similar this year myself. I changed my whole routine from January, which meant I was spending a lot more time studying and doing things which I enjoy. Not as much work as what I'd done up until previous years. And I get that myself, feel a bit I enjoy spending time on my own. I love spending time on my own, and I love spending time with my family, but I do miss spending time. Sometimes I feel like, I need to be around people a bit more, and especially because I'm blessed with so many, there's not, around the night, there's not many people who've got as many good, fucking positive people who inspire me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very, very blessed and grateful for that. And now I'm trying to figure out ways to enable me to spend more time with them, people. A bit more regular. This is a great opportunity for me.
Yeah, there is
spend time with, like, yourself.
That's what's great about these things.
But it's so important, isn't it? The people you spend time with,
100%.
The people who you give your energy to. And
I feel like another thing to touch on now is like, people say about family, this is something that I've gone back and forth with loads. I've asked so many different people the advice on this. I've watched so many videos on it. And when they'll say, so if you've got family members who are negative, how do you deal with that situation? Like, do you go and see them? But if it brings down your vibration a bit. And like, to me, like, it's just like, yeah, you do. You just go and just try and go in. And even before you go in, when I'm in the car sometimes, I'd be like, I'm going to go in and lift them, I'm going to go in and lift them and not just go straight into their energy, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like, you just do what you start, a great little bit of advice that I'd like to give to people is like, with these people, whoever it is that you've got this issue with, so you're thinking that you bring your energy down, ask yourself what do they love most? So for example, the person I'm talking about loves to go for walks, like love to walk. So I just take her out in nature. And so she's at the happiest. So I'm getting the best out of it. I'm spending time with her. But it's not.
Or have conversations with them in and around things which they've got an interest in.
Exactly, man. And like, and then it's the best of both worlds, isn't it? Like, you're getting a bit of exercise in, you're getting a bit of fresh air, so a day. You're walking the dog, you get a little cup of tea or ice cream, like you're walking around, you're in the sun. So instantly you're going to feel better than you are sitting in a house. That carries with it the energy that's circulating in there the majority of the time. So that's what you feel in a lot of people's houses is when you go in, you've got to understand that you're opening yourself up to the experiences and the feelings that they're experiencing. That's just a fact. You are. So when you go in some places and you do feel like you're slightly come down a little
you're
bit,
influenced by other people, aren't you? And
so if you've got an environment that you find, stop going there as much.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you've got to stop associating with these people. Bring them out the environment. Bring them to yours.
Advice,
bring them out to other places. Get them in a different environment and you'll probably see them lift.
See the best of them as well.
100% though. And
we are products or creatures of our environment, aren't we? So it's like...
And when people do sit there and circulate bad thoughts, it does fill that room with that. You feel it, you go in. And it's like, you want to lift someone, but you can only do so much. So, and it's easier said than done, innit? These people who are going to be sitting there like, well, I've tried to do that and they won't leave the house. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, like, or everyone can do it, but that would be my advice, is to just try and change. Even if you go for some food somewhere, a coffee somewhere indoors, if they can't really get out much, take them somewhere that's just bright, colourful, and got a bit of a nice energy, some nice music on and that, a little cool coffee, there's plenty of them in Liverpool. I just feel like that's what I try and do. With anyone even that I know, that's like across the board, that if someone gets in touch and says, do you want to go for a scan or do you want to do this, or okay, can I pick your brain on something? I'll be like, what type of person are they? Let's do it in this situation. And that'll give us both the best like chance of both walking away from you feeling good, speaking about good things, and both getting something from it.
Doesn't it?
Nature, man's the one.
Nature heals, doesn't it? So
yeah, 100%. Any walk by the water or but I do love like a little herbal tea and that as well, and a little coffee, and like I say, some little Bob Marley, like them little vibes are good. And like I say, there's plenty of that in Liverpool. Like we live in we're blessed to be in the city we are, man. Like we are by the water, and as much as there's a lot of negativity going on, these cool, quick places. It's what you look at, isn't it? It's where you go.
Yeah.
I mean, you can sit here and man, you can sit here and moan, but there's so much good. I was guilty of it for a long time. Like Liverpool, it's like want to get out of here, want to go and experience the world more. But then it's like, we live in a great city, man, with a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And people are just misguided passion. I'd say is the sole biggest problem Liverpool have got, misguided passion. All these kids who are bubbling with the highest energy you could ever imagine, and they're guided to the wrong things.
They're very creative, aren't they?
So creative and so talented.
The way the school system and things work, I won't go into it too much, but it's not designed for everyone. You know, Liverpool has got so many talented, creative and competitive people to a certain degree, which works in our favour, obviously in some ways, because we've so many amazing athletes, music artists. You know, the special people come from Liverpool. But at the same time, for me, it causes a lot of misery as well, because everyone's competing and trying to live beyond the means and, you know, that trying to fit in and outdo each other a lot as well. You know, everyone, I won't say everyone, but a lot of people are in competition 100%. With each other, and obviously the effects that has is people spending money they haven't got or doing things which they shouldn't do. And, you know,
but that is my point, scanning it. So, like, you know, you're saying that to them type of people, right? They go to certain places and associate with certain people. It's just a fact. At certain times of the year, even in certain events that are put on, that's the type of people will go to them. Now, if you don't want to, if that's not something you want to be around, you just
don't go there.
You can go to other places. There's some great stuff that's happening. There's great environments.
I think people naturally have a fear of missing out.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? They have a fear that if I don't go these places, because these are places I've always gone, and you know, and they just go there out of habit. It's
exactly.
Like,
that's what I mean. But then they come away from there and they're not fulfilled by the experience in any way, shape, or form. If anything, they're just on a bit of
what we deem to be normal, isn't it? Going out on a weekend and getting rotten drunk and
that's what I mean. Like it's just it just comes down to the people that you're around. The majority of the time are just going to basically dictate the way that your life goes. I feel definitely. So that's where that's what changed my life, is even when we first met and you started the 3% and that, which obviously this has all come from. Just going in and being around such strong, powerful men who just really like strong characters and big cats. That was just life changing for me. And then obviously do you remember that when we went to Poland and then we come back and we was in Indigo Green's Mark, the first meeting? And I used to speak and I used to talk like that. Remember that? My voice used to like go all crackly, and that's probably happened a couple of times, But I used to be bad at it, man. Like me heart.
Now you're like that, bouncing down. Crosby, Oswald prom, talking to 30,000 followers.
Serious though.
And the rest.
But you remember the things, I always remember it. We went to Wim Hof, and like 2 weeks before we went to Wim Hof, I tried to do a talk in the Crown Plaza and was just like,
so before shit show. Me and Luke, obviously, you know, probably if you follow me on Instagram anyway, I don't mind an ice bath. I love a bit of cold water. Luke touched on the cold showers and stuff before. We've been following Wim Hof for years, and about 3 years ago, wasn't it? A small group of what was the Scouts fight team you were calling us, weren't they?
Yeah, sick that.
I'll actually get some pictures posted on the podcast so you can see it. But we went to Poland together to see Wim Hof and spend a week on his winter retreat, didn't we?
Yeah, man.
Is it Gdansk in Poland?
I can't remember the name. It was a crazy name. It looked like someone had just twatted the keyboard and then said that's the name.
But yeah, it was amazing. We'll go into that now then. So, the Wim Hof experience.
Yeah.
Powerful. People have asked me over it. And it's something I don't feel comfortable talking about in a changing room, in a gym, or in the Tesco's, or because I feel like I just can't do it justice. I'd rather just not speak about it completely than touch on it and just do it a misjustice, because
no, I know what you mean.
I know what it done for me, personally, as an experience, but what did it do for you?
It completely transformed my life. Like I was I broke through to who I was. Like I said before, Nelly said that I was a changed person, but like I wasn't. I found myself there. I found who I was, what I was about, what I was here for. Like all in the one experience, do you know what I mean? I really did. So like, I come back just with definitely less of an ego. That was the biggest thing they say. Like, basically throws your ego off there, didn't you? Like, I think that's essentially how I felt like it did. That was the best way my mind comprehended what happened. I felt like all the cold just froze it out of me. Like it just pulled it out of me. That ego that I had and wanted to be something that I wasn't. And then with that came the confidence to like speak, like public speaking, to be able to hold conversations and not experience all those because we had to there, didn't we? We had, like, the log getting passed around and stuff.
A lot of shit,
Remember the first day I passed it on? Second day I spoke for 15 minutes. Sorry, the last day I spoke for 15 minutes. I remember it was mad. So just in that 6 days, 5 days, whatever it was.
So just before we go, a little bit of information on basically the experience. You're there for 6 days. There was about 5, 6 of us, wasn't he? Went together.
Was it 6? You, Mike, Barry.
Mick. Was it 6 of us?
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
We're all close friends anyway. We went over together and we got put in a group, didn't we? There's like 100 people on the retreat and you're in groups, say 25. You spend 6 days in Poland. You walk up mountains, you jump in freezing cold rivers, ice, you do an ice bath at Wim's house up there. You spend a lot of time off the mobile phones, off devices. Yeah, so like you actually connect, don't you? Disconnect from everything. You connect to like yourself and you meet new people. And I can't put into words how much of an amazing, inspirational experience. If anyone gets an opportunity, I'm on no commission. I get absolutely nothing how to speak in this way. But if I could recommend anything, it's go and get out of your comfort zone and go and do things like this. Because for what, we'll go into it a little bit more in a minute, but what we took from it, and the lads who we went over there, who were all fucking brothers of mine and Luke's, it was just like, don't look at the price and think that's expensive, because, I don't care what your financial position is, it's an absolute investment. If you've got to go and get a loan, whatever you've got to do to get over there, then I'd recommend it to anyone.
It was special, it really was.
So what would you, a couple of memories then, what would you say?
The most powerful one was obviously was Helena.
Helena, yeah.
It was pronounced differently, wasn't it, from her country, but yeah, with that situation, I remember that when we were meditating, they were going around with the guitars really, and so powerful. And I just got this drawing, I just needed to go over to her, and we don't know still, do we? Kind of what she experienced, but we know she had bad trauma from something.
So it's a girl who we met. I hope she won't mind us speaking about her. But you just seen a transformation between the first day and the last day. And I'm going to say it was a girl. How old did you say? In her early 20s? Early 20s. And she'd actually flew from Holland, hadn't she?
Yeah, on her own.
On her own.
Big girl. She didn't just really insecure. Didn't look like she trained a lot, or again, I really don't want to offend her, but took good care of herself, and you could see that initially really lacked confidence, didn't she? She couldn't really speak or look you in the eye the first day, and over the course of 5-6 days, you just seen an absolute it was the maddest thing ever.
One of the most amazing transformations, and she's probably one of the strongest people I've ever, for a girl in her early 20s to fly from Holland on her own to Poland, and for me to witness and go, because we're all strong lads, we're fit, strong lads, 6 of us, we can all look after ourselves, but to go there and see the likes of her and people who didn't exercise, didn't live the way we live, hadn't had the same experiences, I mean.
She even did lose weight though as well, didn't she, from that week, because she was doing so much. She looked, I know last saying, she just looked, she was a totally different, her face and that, everything was different.
She was glowing, wasn't she?
Something just lifted. I'm getting all goosebumps now, but it was like she had something like a heavy, black cloak on her, and it just got moved from her.
Every day.
Her eyes looked different, her face looked different, her body looked different, her smile. She smiled more, she spoke more. She looked
you in the eyes, she was confident.
She was laughing, joking with people. I mean, it was just,
but that alone. We've done, she done it, didn't she? Walked up a mountain, fucking barely half naked, in snow and ice, and she really, really struggled, and it was hard.
That's why I'm saying,
any help or support.
That's why I was saying she was big before, not even as in what she looked like, but she wasn't a fit person, and just to walk up that mountain, regardless of not having hardly any clothes on, that would have even been hard. So there were so many people similar to herself, and these kind of bigger people.
The inspiration for me, and I know it'll be for you, wasn't we go there expecting a certain, as I say, we're fit, strong, we're healthy.
We knew we could handle the physical, didn't we?
Whatever they throw at us, we can handle it. But to see some of the people over there who just came from totally different backgrounds, all over the world, not physically strong, elderly, 50, 60, 70.
It was so,
not 50s,
so
not
diverse.
But 60, 70 years of age. actually going and doing the same thing, all the cold water. It was tough, wasn't it? It definitely wasn't easy. It was challenging. It was difficult for me.
You'd wake up every day with a little bit of butterflies.
They inspired me, and
Same.
really pushed me.
I loved the way they worked it. You can't remember where they were like strongest at the back.
Yeah.
So like Helena and you at the front with Helena, we were all at the very back. So it was like, if they don't go, we don't go.
And there was a guy at the front with was it cerebral palsy?
Yeah. The one who, at the very end, did we give a little touch?
Yeah. There was another lad up there and he was at the front. And he basically on crutches. He had, I think it was cerebral palsy. I might be wrong. But I think he had cerebral palsy. And it was obvious that he was, he had some kind of disease, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was unwell. But to just see people like that.
Imagine that, honestly, just to get up and down, not on a pair of crutches, like, in that cold. And to give an indication of how cold it was as well. You know the video that we put up where I was dancing, me and Barry, messing around? Yeah. Have you seen the guard who's next to us? He's in a full snowsuit with goggles and everything on.
Funny? I'm actually speaking about it now because I'm actually visualising and seeing us being there. My whole body's gone cold. I'm like, I'm freezing it. It was. Turn that heating on over there for us, please. It's freezing in here.
It was though. It was next level cold, wasn't it? But you didn't feel it at the time. It was weird.
You had no choice, did you?
It was just
you
mad.
Like bitch about the cold, or when you're standing next to some 65-year-old fella who's never seen it.
Serious though. But you remember getting to the top of the mountain as well, scanning as soon as we got there and everyone got a picture, and then you instantly went freezing because it was like you knew what you'd done, and it was like you felt the effects straight away. But leading up to it, because you were so zoned in, focused, it just shows how much it's mental. Because as soon as your mental aspect changed, you instantly felt the physical effects of the cold, which is why I feel it's such an important thing for people to learn how much
people don't realise how intelligent the body is and how much control the mind actually has over your physiology.
Yeah,
it's like I've done this myself. I've created sickness in my own body through putting my attention, which means my energy, on not getting sick.
Yeah.
But what I was actually doing is focusing on sickness in general. Your subconscious, your mind doesn't discriminate whether it's positive or negative. Whatever you put your attention on, you're going to create more of it.
So the switch to that is focusing on health, isn't it? So not focus on not getting sick, focus on pure good health.
Pure health. I am strong, I am healthy, I am fit, I am basically all the things which you want to be. Because, we're all capable of, like to say, not being whatever we want, but we've all got infinite potential. And
definitely.
Your body's intelligent. If I can get cold sitting here now speaking and actually being back in Poland, and that's obviously proof for me anyway.
It is.
We've got this intelligence.
Do you remember when we walked through as well, the forest, and you were just playing the guitar and we couldn't speak? It was a silent one.
Yeah.
We'd done a silent 2-hour walk just through the forest, hands behind your back, and you just played the guitar every 10-15 minutes, just walking in nature, freezing cold, no top on. And then we put our hands and feet in the cold. That was one of the hardest things I thought, because it was so easy to just take your hands out. Whereas the other stuff, you went in and you got up to your neck. It was freezing, obviously, but
it was painful, wasn't it?
Yeah, but putting your hands in and having to just do that and lean over when you knew you could just do that, I found that harder to even keep your hands in, and the feet as well. But I even remember that. Do you remember the Indian? What was his name? The Indian fella. Dead small. What was his name? It's got me proper name. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
That small Indian fellow with glasses.
Yeah, proper cool.
And do you remember he started singing that song?
Which one?
When we were I can't remember, but I don't think it was The River Is Flowing. Remember The River Is Flowing?
Yeah, that was when we done the 7 minutes in the frozen.
But someone started singing a similar song when we all just sat there. And I can't remember, I think it was Mick Kieran got it on his camera. He used to take his GoPro out, didn't he? And you could just see him doing it. I was sat next to him as he was doing it, and you could just see him with his eyes closed, just singing. And them little moments like that, they're things I literally think, when you said there, I can take myself right back to that exact second now. And what I was experiencing there was just pure contentment with just so little. Just walking with hardly any clothes on, but just being so content in that moment. I genuinely didn't need anything else in my life at them points, and it just taught me what really does matter. And everyone there had so much love for each other. How mad was it as well, Scan? Apart from us 6, there was only something 2 people from the same country out the other 20 or 18.
Yeah.
Do you remember there was literally every country you could think of? You had Dubai, you You had like South America.
People
like,
from all totally different walks of life. You had people who'd gone there because they'd experienced some kind of trauma or traumatic experiences and they were really struggling. You had people who went there just to improve, just to better themselves. You had doctors.
Yeah, remember how clever he was?
Absolutely everything, yeah.
There was just everything.
I know why it was also, obviously you're associated with a lot of people who are similar to you, especially where we're from, and everyone kind of wears the same clothes. But there's really a special thing, isn't it, in surrounding yourself with people and getting into conversations and getting an understanding of how other people live. Yeah. It's like, you know, that's definitely something, even speaking about it now, I'm getting goosebumps.
Remember how much he surprised us? The doctor he didn't speak much all week, did he, Scott?
No,
until I think it was like the fourth day.
Just like, oh my God,
it was mad, wasn't it? That it took him to the fourth day and you just sat and absorbed and listened to everyone, didn't he? And just took it all in. And then just went boom and just come out with all these.
But like you came home from there, the only way I can describe it and how I felt when I came home is there was people who I didn't know 6 days before, and I loved them to the point where it didn't matter where they were in the world. If they'd have messaged me saying I need you, I'd have been on the fucking A flying. Yeah. I'd have been on the next flight over there. I'd have been like, what's happening? What do you need?
They were good. There was like dirty wet asses if you go away.
Dirty wet asses was the nickname of our group, yeah.
Because the first day he made us all sit down, didn't he, in the thing? That's why I think he called
it.
We all had to sit in the sleet. Remember the first day we got there and he just took us outside? We were doing snow angels, weren't we?
Yeah.
Just in there, I remember that the very first day.
And the breathwork as well.
That was the first one, and that was like that was probably like the most powerful experience for me that I got out of it was that first day.
Mm-hmm.
I had nothing left to kind of, I felt like I let so much out during them 2 hours there. I didn't really have much else to get rid of.
Yeah.
People always say to me, what did you get from it? And the best way I can like describe it as like my mom making like pictures, but it was like getting cleaned. Do you know what I mean? Inside out. I just came out. I just felt clean when I come back. I just completely washed out like a brand new vase.
But I think a lot of the clarity and stuff which you're speaking about now also comes from the simplicity. From spending virtually no time on the phone, did you?
Yeah, no.
There weren't no fancy food, but the food was absolutely fucking. It was gorgeous. It was lovely, wasn't it?
Because about cold you'd been all day and everything.
It was just the most simple form of life over 6 days, and you did even mentally. You felt like, you know, you could think straight, and you came home a lot more peaceful and happy. And
100%.
And I think
it was like you'd said before, not that it's how you feel. I understand that, but everyone who I interacted with for 6 months after Wim Hof was like, if you feel like a different person. So it was something that not just I experienced within, it was something that I was portraying as well. Do you know what I mean? Like I was giving off a different energy as well. So it wasn't just something that I felt like I resolved a lot of trauma within myself. It was something that I felt like my energy was
it actually changed who you was.
Yeah. It completely washed away. Well, it changed the identity of who I thought I was. Like, do you know what I mean? It got me through like that's the best way I can describe it is I did a post about it not too long ago. Did you see when I said about the feeling, I keep getting feelings of when I was a kid. Remember you'd wake up, scan like Christmas Eve, for example, that feeling you had. You can't like even explain what that is to someone, can you? Or like, remember the first day of the summer holidays and you knew you'd had 6 weeks left of that, like just you'd be playing with your mates thinking,
excitement.
6 weeks, it's not even like it's just a weekend, you've got 6 weeks of this. Them little feelings there, if you could bottle that up, they're the experiences that now that I've gone full circle in my life, and I believe that it happens in sevens, but we'll get into that in a second. But like, I definitely do feel like it happens in sevens. And I feel like I've gone full circle that many times now that I'm experiencing so many emotions of when I was a child, like the similar ones. Like, so I used to have this obsession with storms when I was a kid, Scan. You know, looking out there. So soon to be a storm, me and my mum would sit on the step and we'd watch it. Don't know what it was, do something about it. Used to like soothe me. I just used to sit there.
I used to go out running every time it would be thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
Pissing down.
It's just something special about it is there always has been the thunder, the lightning. I used to just love it. The last few times now I've had Asian been looking out the window at the storms. There's been a couple of last few days in it. And I just feel that again. I get them same emotions and I'm like, I've just gone full circle. I'm back in touch with me inner child. And I know that that's something that a lot of holistic people are big on, aren't they? Breaking through to your inner child, and there's inner child meditations you can do and stuff. And it's something that I definitely think it's got its place, because the more that you tap back through to who you was, like who was you as a kid, like what type of person was you as a child, And if you can be more like that.
But it's regaining that connection with yourself, isn't it? Because that's why so many people, again, these are only my opinions, but so many people feel lost and they actually seek that feeling, what you're speaking about, through substances, through drugs and through escaping in whatever form, whether it's no food. I don't mind escaping now and again with a bar of chocolate and whatever myself, but I actually understand that. I'm feeling the same way and I'm going to these things. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but I'm saying a lot of that stems from a disconnection with actually who you are. And like you're saying, you're inner child, and you know, it's only as we grow older and we spend time around different people and we start attaching to different people's ideas and information and this and the news and all these things, what everything's fed to you.
Yeah.
And it does create a false self.
It does.
And that false self is the reason, what I believe, behind most people's insecurities and unhappiness 100%. And sadness, but they're just not aware of what it is, and they're trying to escape that feeling of not feeling like themselves through substances and external things, where if you really connect to yourself and you get in touch with yourself and you start to understand your ego and release the part of it which aren't serving you, it leads to you being happier, just pure and needing less.
Yeah, that's the key, innit? Needing less.
Needing less, not needing all these external things. I'm not saying external things are bad or material things are bad. We both got nice things and we both live a good life, but they're not what make us. Ultimately, they're not what make me happy. No. Speaking about Powell and stuff like that, now it's bringing back memories and feelings. What like that's true joy and happiness. 100%. Well, that was through the people who I was going through them experiences with, nothing else.
Definitely though. I just feel like you said there about living nice and that. My whole thing, like, I couldn't care what clothes I've got, anything like that. I just want to be able to travel the world. That's all I care about. If I've got the money to travel the world with peace of mind, which will mean that you've got to be financially secure.
Of course,
and financially free. So of course that's a goal of mine, is to be financially free. But honestly, not for the reasons that a lot of people.
Not to buy.
No, not at all. Just to be able to be in these places with peace of mind, as I say, and experience different cultures and take me family places that I would never have been able to go as a child. And because I do think it's just priceless as a child to travel. I think the more places that they go when they're young, it's just it is priceless. Like, they'll just get to see so many different walks of life and so many different cultures and ways of living and different people and ethnicities, and just
everything. You get one life,
become so comfortable with
giving them an opportunity to experience it to the fullest.
Yeah, because it's hard, isn't it? No one was saying before about with MJ not wanting to wrap in cotton wool, because a lot of us not being wrapped in cotton wool has made us who we are, and able to help people. So it's a difficult one.
But I'd say it's a different world what we live in now compared to what I'm a bit older than you, but not that far off, but than what we grew up with. A lot of the stuff what's going on now, I think it's our duty to also protect them, because you can make a mistake and be in the wrong place at the wrong time now, and without going the wrong way with the conversation, that it can be devastating. So it's finding that balance between actually teaching them, but without trying to turn them into someone.
Yeah, definitely.
I speak a lot about my daughter and things like that. She's obviously younger than MJ and I. We try not to help her do anything. She's very independent. MJ's 11. We helped him a bit too much with certain things. He's nowhere near as independent as my 6-year-old. I say we're learning on the job all the time.
100% though.
And I don't like people feeding her too much information and trying to tell her what to think or what to believe or things like that, because then she's basically taking and adopting their beliefs. I want her to create her own.
Yeah.
And I think that's a massive, it's a gift for me now to be aware of this, because obviously she can create her own identity. That means when she's 30, 35 years of age, she hasn't got to go back and find herself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do my best for her to create herself.
Yeah, but that was going to be my next point. So when people say that, my kind of feeling towards it is, I just feel like a lot of mistakes, if avoided, as long as they're being taught the right lessons and they're still experiencing enough of life to know.
It's like principles and stuff, isn't it?
I just feel like there's some certain things that you can definitely avoid, and like that don't need to happen for you to appreciate stuff. If you install gratitude in them from an early age, I think they'll appreciate the life that they've got and that you're able to provide them without having to experience lack in order to appreciate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just where I'm at with how I'm going to approach raising my daughter. It's just going to be teaching them gratitude. Even now that she can't speak, but she's definitely listening. And I'm just saying, look how good this is.
We do
is.
things with the kids that you've always done, that you won't speak about on camera, because that's not what it's about, but they understand and they see things, and they see how intentionally they see how some other people are living. I exposed them to that.
I don't know, we spoke about it.
I can't say I don't know what the exact word is, in an intentional way, so that they understand it's not all sunshine and rainbows and money doesn't grow on trees and things like that, but at the same time you're more than capable of having absolutely anything what you want out of life, as long as you've got the belief and the drive and the desire and the work ethic and all these other things what they should be trying, we've learned from trying to share and help people with.
Like you said there, I watched Grant Cardone. I don't know if you think it's just funny. I take him with a pinch of salt with something he says, but he said one the other day, it cracked me up to be fair, but it's kind of true what he was saying. He said he was in a shopping mall or something, and someone came over to his little daughter and said something, and she didn't speak to him, and he went, "Oh, you're really shy, aren't you?" And he said, "She's not shy, you're just ugly." And the fellow was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Don't tell my daughter what she is. She just doesn't want to speak to you. Don't tell her she's shy, because you'll make her believe she's shy." And he got into it then and explained what it meant a bit more. And he's just basically saying, when these people go to school and stuff and they're told they're a certain way, they start to believe it because they're at such an influential age where they're just influenced by anything and what people say. Just downloading
the information what you, and that's what school.
So instead of saying like I say, instead of speaking to and they go finger, instead of going, "Oh, you're shy, aren't you?" It's like, no, don't tell her she's shy. Like try and get down to her level. Maybe go to one knee, be on her level, try and speak to her. Just that's something that I feel like with children, if we can't label them as certain things, especially with so much mental health.
Personally, I wouldn't call someone ugly for.
No, he's messing about.
I totally get.
He's just messing about. He uses humour to just say he's just messing about. He goes, "Don't tell her that you're just ugly. She doesn't want to look at you," because she turns away from him. He's like, "But don't put what you think. Don't label my girl what you think she is. That's you thinking she's shy.
Don't
she just doesn't want."
Because she'll.
Do you know what I mean? Because she's not shy, was what he was saying. She said if you see her with people she likes, she's not shy. So don't tell her she's shy. She doesn't know yet. And do you know what I mean? You've just maybe approached it wrong. Yeah. So
I don't like people tell them I talk about this all the time. Of not put a coat on, you'll catch a death of cold and these things.
All these wives tales.
If she's cold, she'll put a coat on. She doesn't need you to tell her.
Exactly. But there's a reason that kids don't want to wear coats, Gan. It's a natural thing. Why you didn't want to wear coats, did you? You wanted to just...
No, of course, yeah.
So it's a natural thing. Wim Hof touched on it. I seen Wim Hof touching it. I don't know if it was when he was there or it was a separate interview, but he's touching it. He said kids like to be cold. We constantly try and keep them. Of course, when they're first born, we wrap them up, keep them warm during that first stage, but
there was just one point in time maybe we ran down fucking bollock, maybe with a leaf or something.
What I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's kind of it's like we definitely don't need... You don't need to be in your house wrapped up 4 or 5 layers on with the heating on full blast. You definitely don't need that. I feel awful in any houses with heating on me. I get a blocked nose. I get I feel terrible. No, not at all. I feel really bad whenever I go somewhere with the heating on. I'm just get dead uncomfortable. I'd rather be cold and throw up here than something warm to keep warm on. Do you know what I mean? Even in bed, I like to sleep cold with a couple more blankets. I definitely don't sleep with the heating on. I feel like it's a natural thing. We're supposed to be a little bit cold and warm our body temperature up.
Yeah.
So definitely
got too comfortable in it.
Yeah, everything's just, even with the kids like that, that's what I'm trying to get used to now. Not having dead hot water for the normal bathing and stuff. And eventually I'll get used to cold. I'm not going to throw in an ice bath yet.
I'll throw jugs of freezing cold water on her. She loves it in RMJs. Been in the garden a few times and then the cold shower. Whether he'll do that in the winter, I don't know. But
it's just introducing them at that age, though. It will just become normal to them. It'll be something that they just they don't even think twice about.
Okay, I'm gonna end it on a couple of questions.
Cool, man.
And I'm sure at some point we'll be back in speaking again.
Definitely.
Once Shredfast, fucking number one. Fitness and well-being program in the world. But my 3 questions is, if I say to you, what does happiness look like? What's the very first thing what comes to your mind without giving it too much thought?
Family, just family, nothing else. A happy family, waking up with them each day, That's just pure happiness to me.
Moments.
Yeah, family, honestly. The best experience I've had in my life has all been through family. Like I say, when I think of my childhood, it's just family, like experiencing, like just learning the world. And it's majority around your family when you're first growing up, isn't it? Learning what things are, going to places for the first time.
Okay. Success. Everyone has a different definition of success without thinking about it too much. What success means to you?
Freedom and peace of mind. So it's weird because like I literally only wrote this the other week when I had to ask myself, what is it? And for me, pure happiness is freedom and peace of mind. So, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean financial freedom, but in our world we live in now,
of course,
it has to mean financial freedom because we need money. So to me, it's financial freedom, but with peace of mind. So not financial freedom from something that is built on negative or the wrong intentions, and also something that brings a lot of stress with it. Like, do you know what I mean? Something that's really
it's
high maintenance, really tough to maintain.
You can find somewhere you love and living from it, you don't have
definitely. So that them two things are just, that's success for me. So it doesn't matter whether you're a billionaire or you earn 100 grand. If you can earn enough to do the things you want to do, which for me is travel and live in a nice house, and I'm happy as long as my daughter's got her own bedroom. She's got a nice garden to run around in. I'm happy, lad.
What do you need?
Literally happy. And I can travel, so.
Last one then. Favourite quote?
Probably the self-discipline. Where it's self-discipline is doing what you know you should do, whether you feel like doing it or not. I've said it loads of times now. And it changed my life, reading the book, No Excuses by Brian Tracy. I just read that and I thought, that really is the definition of self-discipline.
Yeah.
It's
doing things which you know are good for you in the long term, even though you don't immediately feel like doing
you just
it.
know even what you should do, and not even necessarily good for you, Scan. I just say what you should do. So I say now, can you do X, Y, or Z, and you know you should do it. It might not necessarily be good in the long run or anything like that, but you just know what you should do. And it's like,
would you say that discipline then plays some part in creating the freedom and the peace of mind?
100%. I think that is it. I think it's everything. I think it's everything. I think it's the difference between success and failing. I think it's the difference between happiness and misery. I think it's the difference between everything. Honestly, everything in life. Like, if you haven't got the discipline with anything, and you're never going to be able to maintain what's the word? Consistency with it. If you haven't got discipline, there's no consistency, and I just feel like the domino effect. Everything stems from discipline, because that alarm going off in the morning is the be all and end all, really. Maybe not even the alarm, just when you wake up in the morning, what you have to do and get done that day comes down to self-discipline.
It's your choices, isn't it?
Yeah, and you've got to use discipline to do
make
it all.
the correct choices.
Like Jocko says, doesn't he, discipline equals freedom? I definitely believe it does. The more disciplined you are, the more freedom you have in the long run, definitely. But also, even at the time scan, if you plan your week, it frees more time up. If you don't plan your week, it's
self-management, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
You manage yourself and you create what we were talking about a bit earlier on, over the routine, and basically having a plan, and hopefully the plan's based on having a goal or an intention or a purpose, so to say.
Yeah.
Then I think it'd definitely help a lot of people who are struggling at the minute, wouldn't it?
1,000,000%. Just setting a goal and an action plan, to get there. But even with the plan as well, I don't feel like you need a plan to start, and that's what a lot of people wait for, isn't it?
Yeah.
A plan to start, just start. The way you said with the podcast,
goal or purpose should just be to be the healthiest. And at the end of something could pop up further down the line. At least you're going to be in a position then to grab it with both hands, because you're fit, strong.
Definitely.
I keep saying fit, strong and healthy, but
But even with the podcast, like you said, you just started, didn't you? You were saying, you're laughing before about the introduction and that, and like, I'm just learning, like, you're just learning on the job, you're doing it, but you've just started.
You're laughing. Tony Bellew's introduction took me longer to make than Tony Bellew's whole podcast. So if you think this is easy,
no, it's
not. Like, someone's getting in an ice bath. Me doing this is my equivalent of someone who hates the cold getting in an ice bath.
Yeah.
But the message is there for you to see. Surround yourself with amazing people, and just get in touch with who you are. That's my message for today. I'm fortunate enough. The 3 people I've had on the podcast so far all massively inspire me, and I've got a load of others who you probably never hear or see nothing of, but the people who you spend time with is so important, so valuable. Having a plan, having a purpose, and most importantly, getting connected and realising who you are and building a life around that is the solution to so many people's poor mental health at the minute. So I'm very, very grateful to Luke Thank you very much. I
I
love you.
appreciate it, man.
I love
Thank
you
you
a
for
lot.
having me on.
And,
Love you, brother.
Let's go, champ. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, man. Nice
Yeah.
one, Scan.